Have you ever wondered what it would be like to make a choice that would change everything? A choice that would affect not only your life but the lives of everyone who comes after you? That's exactly what happened in the Garden of Eden, when the first humans, Adam and Eve, faced a decision that would alter the course of history. But, before we get into their story, let's pause for a moment. Perhaps you know the story of Adam and Eve, about a tree, a serpent, and the fall. You've probably heard bits and pieces. But today, let's take a step back and look at it through fresh eyes. What really happened? Why does this ancient story still matter to us today? Let's journey together through the Garden of Eden, where everything began. In the very beginning, God created a beautiful world. He made the heavens and the earth, the oceans, and the dry land. Everything was perfect. And then, God created the first man, Adam. Adam was placed in a garden called Eden, where everything he needed was provided. The garden was filled with all kinds of trees, tall ones, short ones, some with fruits that were bright and sweet to the taste. Everything in this paradise was good. But even though Adam had everything he needed, God saw that he was lonely. So, God decided to create a companion for him. From Adam's own body, God made Eve. He created her to be a perfect partner, someone who could walk beside Adam, share in his joys, and help him in life. She was a gift from God, made from Adam's rib, a symbol of how connected they were. Together, Adam and Eve were given a wonderful life in the garden. They could eat the fruits from any tree in the garden, except for one. There was one tree in the center of the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God told them that they could not eat its fruit, because if they did, they would die. Now, let's pause for a moment. You might wonder, why did God place that one tree in the garden? Why allow them to be tempted at all? Well, the answer lies in the importance of choice. God didn't want robots, He wanted people who could choose to love Him freely. For love to be real, it has to be a choice. So, the command was simple: avoid the tree. But one day, the serpent, who was more clever than any other creature, approached Eve. The serpent asked her, "Did God really say you couldn't eat from any tree in the garden?" Eve, puzzled, responded, "No, we can eat from every tree except for the one in the middle. If we eat it, we'll die." The serpent smiled and said, "You won't die. In fact, God knows that if you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you'll be like Him, knowing good and evil." Eve looked at the tree. The fruit seemed so tempting. It was beautiful to look at and seemed like it could make her wise. The serpent's words had planted a seed of doubt in her mind. She wondered if maybe God had kept something good from her, something that could make her even more like God Himself. So, Eve took the fruit. She ate it, and then she gave some to Adam, who was with her. And he ate it too. Immediately, their eyes were opened. They saw that they were naked, and for the first time, they felt shame. They quickly sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. That evening, as they heard God walking in the garden, they hid from Him. They had never felt the need to hide from God before. But now, they were afraid. God called out, "Where are you?" Adam replied, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" Adam blamed Eve, saying, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." Eve, in turn, blamed the serpent, saying, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." God then spoke to the serpent, to Eve, and to Adam. He told the serpent that because of what it had done, it would crawl on its belly and be an enemy to mankind. He told Eve that from now on, childbirth would be painful, but that her offspring would one day crush the serpent's head. To Adam, God said that the ground would be cursed because of his actions, and he would have to work hard for food. And the most painful consequence, Adam and Eve were banished from the garden. They could no longer live in the paradise they once knew. And so, Adam and Eve were sent out of the garden. God placed cherubim, angelic beings, and a flaming sword to guard the entrance so they couldn't return. What does this story reveal to us about God? It shows that God created a world full of love, beauty, and freedom, but he also gave us the responsibility to make choices. It reveals that even when we mess up, God doesn't give up on us. He still promises a way back to him, through hope and redemption. What does this story reveal about human nature? We see how easily we can be swayed by temptation, how fear and pride can cloud our judgment. It shows that even in the face of our mistakes, we tend to blame others instead of taking responsibility for our actions. But most importantly, the central lesson here is that the choices we make have consequences, not just for us, but for the world around us. Even in their disobedience, Adam and Eve were not abandoned. They were given the hope of something greater, something to look forward to. As we reflect on the story of Adam and Eve, let's not focus on the mistakes alone, but on the grace that God offers us through the promise of redemption. We are all faced with choices, some big, some small. But no matter what, we are never beyond the reach of God's love. So, take a deep breath and know that, like Adam and Eve, you can make choices, but you can also change, learn, and grow. It's not about being perfect, it's about trusting that God is with you through it all. Remember, you are not alone in this story. Whatever you face, there's always hope. If this story brought peace to your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. We hope you feel encouraged and uplifted as you continue your own journey of discovery.